All right, we're back with neighbor director Robert Masciantonio.
Hello, hello.
It's a pleasure to have you in the studio. I just rewatched Neighbor. This is a movie I loved. It was one of my favorite films of last year by a long shot. Uh,
Thank you.
I, when I first saw the movie, I was watching it with a group of friends, and the love sequence came on, and that's about where my friend had to leave the room. And I hear that he's not the first person that this has happened to.
No, yes, that was the one. The editor started that off. It's nice to have a sort of um jeez, what's it?
Like a legend.
Yeah, yeah, a little story beforehand. You know, the little monster under the bed. On in our case was it got out that the editor threw up editing that scene. In his defense, we shot a lot of the movie in sequence.
Yeah.
So we especially everything that was done in that basement was a set. That was the only set we had. Everything else was practical houses.
Yeah.
So once the blood started going, we do the sin and just everything builds and builds and he's getting hands in this film and having to edit toes flying off and the kneecaps getting whacked out, and then here comes this, the creme de la creme. And he had said at that point it was just too much for his psyche to after seeing all of that massacre happen before him, and then just take it to that level. He's like, I just couldn't do it. But yeah, we made sure. Excuse me. We made sure that story got out right away. Um, I also told Vincent Guastini oh, excuse me, I just drank that citrus beverage way quick. Vincent Guastini, the special effects designer. I told him it was the first time, and like I'm not. This isn't any ass padding. It was the first time legitimately since I saw American Werewolf in London when I was 9 years old, did what I see on a movie screen give me nightmares. Like there was one night again. I think just the saturation of just 4 days in a row of chopping and eviscerating and me sitting there going, no, more, more, more. We need more blood. Then come on. And there was one night, like right before I drift off to sleep, I would see a tear or a splash, and I would just be like, my God, I'm gonna get blamed for that. Like people are gonna. That's people. The number one question. Oh, where do you come up with all that stuff? You seem like such a nice guy. Where do you come up with that? I don't know. I don't know, but I knew I was gonna get blamed for it.
Now the movie itself looks great, and it's easy to watch it and even forget that it was an independent film. How did you make it look so professional on such a small budget?
A lot of that was teamwork. Mark Shermer, and he was my director of photography. And Rob Sibley, my editor. We just saw those guys. They knew what I wanted. Um, I would sit down with them and we would watch movies together. I would say, I want to emulate this and this is why and blah blah blah. And I think because we all sort of got along and we all like the same sort of things. So I think really just the three of us being in tune helped that. And then plus just with the technology of using the red camera, it's immediately accessible. You pop the card out of the camera and then you're watching literally what you just shot. So it's easy to make um, aesthetic decisions based on that. If something's even working, you can correct it immediately. Where my first movie was on 35. It would take 3 days before we would see something to go, oh, oops.
Yeah.
Let's hope we can get that. Let's hope we can get that house back because we need to reshoot half this footage.
Now,
But communication I think really helps.
I'm told that you had a guest director who would appear on Sundays and fill in for you. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I have a puppet that I found online that somehow looked remarkably like me. It had like the long hair. I was, in the middle of growing my hair out, so it was just ponytail length, and it had the full beard that looked more like a goatee. I originally bought it just because I thought it was funny. Like, how many times you see a puppet of you, So I'm like, I gotta buy this. I don't remember how I don't personally work on Sunday started. It was a rumor that started during Cold Hearts, and I think it was something that was just said out of jest one day, and then it just kept going. I don't work on Sundays anyway, so I decided this time I'm really I'm not gonna show up. I'm gonna carry the puppet. I'm gonna make everyone address the goddamn puppet, and that's how we're gonna get through the day. Now, look, I had known Christian Campbell, who plays Don in Neighbor. He's been, we've been friends for almost 15 years now. He was in Cold Hearts. So I told him, and I told America, because, I didn't want anyone to, just in case, think I was serious. But nobody else knew. Just those two. So, I show up with the puppet, and it got actually, it worked pretty well. People were pretty responsive to it, and
you didn't have any I Heart Huckabees
I
type
was
situations with the puppet.
No, and the big debate was that was also Mink Stole was on set that day, and it was now do you talk to Mink or does the puppet talk to Mink? I'm like, guys, it's Mink Stole. I really don't think a Muppet of me is gonna shock her.
I was gonna say, I think she's dealt with worse.
Yeah, in the least. And I said that because
I've seen her nakedly sucking toes.
Yeah. I don't think the Muppet's gonna bother. But just out of professionalism, I kept them away because she doesn't. She didn't know me. I just didn't want her to think I was a dick.
I thought that was amazing that you even got Mink Stole. Was the second I saw Mink Stole was in the trailer, I was like, I gotta see this shit.
She was awesome, too.
John Waters is my hero. I would love to get John Waters on this show one day. And just to see, Mink Stole is that's... he's already fulfilled a dream that I will never reach.
She was great, too. She came in and, sat down and she asked me, do you want to see anything particular? And I said, no, have fun. Do what you... Let me see what you want to do. And she did that voice. She kind of pulled that character out. And I said, you do it just like that? And I turned the camera on, and we'll be fine. And, I thought it was great. She gets a big response at all the festivals, too. She always gets Mink!
Now, it's clear when you watch this movie that unlike a lot of horror movies, and I'm not going to say all of them, but there's a good amount of horror movies that have been coming out lately, especially in the realm of remakes, that are clearly not made by fans.
Mm-hmm. Or people that have even seen the
original. I mean, then you see a lot of the independent films, for me, I feel like movies like Hatchet or Cabin Fever or Slither, you can tell that these are guys who grew up with the genre and were like, I know what I want to do.
Right.
And I get that when I watch Neighbor as well. I get the idea that you're not a casual horror fan. You are grew up on horror, and this was like, I want to make a movie like this.
Yeah, I was trying. I was trying to make a love letter to classic horror movies, also with the understanding that Saw and Hostel exist now. So it can't be ignored. But yeah, that was totally that's where I was going. Like I said, I was kind of going for a love letter to to John Landis and John Carpenter and just Wes Craven and just our pioneers. The guys that the hard files think of as Toby Hooper.
And that's why I get frustrated. I haven't even seen the movie, but I hear it's actually better than people made it out to be. But Wes Craven's movie, My Soul to Take, that came out last year.
I didn't see it. I wanted to see it, but I feel like it came and went.
Yeah, everyone was trash. I'm like, who the fuck are you to trash talk Wes Craven?
Right.
Like, every horror fan should be kissing his feet because he's given us some of the greatest films in the genre.
He created an icon.
And then he created, the guy created Last House on the Left, which is still one of the most disturbing films I've ever seen. Yeah. Like, he could shit on a plate and film it for an hour, and I'd be like, I'll watch it because it's fucking Wes Craven.
Yeah,
like,
and I'll be there with you. Yeah,
opening
absolutely.
night.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Scream 4 like it's nobody's business.
I saw the trailer last night.
It looks great.
Before, what did we see last night? The Mechanic.
It just looks it looks like what we've needed, which is, people forget that Scream was a parody. Scream was a parody and it was a satire. This Scream 4 looks like it's going to be such a great satire on the watered down remake genre
of what
that I'm like, I am completely ready to sit in the front row of this movie opening night.
I think, I'm psyched for it too.
Now, after Neighbor came out, I can only imagine that you were on cloud 9, and then you got some very upsetting news, which is kind of taking you out of directing for the time being. Would you be willing to tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Yeah, I got a bit of the old tongue cancer. It was something, started off small. I had a little blip on my tongue. I thought I just bit it or something, had a little abscess. It was a year ago this month, February. I finally went to my regular guy, what do you call it? Your
physician?
Yeah,
physician?
Primary guy.
Yeah.
My guy since I've seen him since I've been 4. Same thing. Looks like you bought it, bit it, take this antibiotic. Went back in 2 weeks, and I'm like, I've been looking at some pictures online, and this doesn't look like I bit it anymore. So he sent me to a specialist, and the guy was like, I don't know why anyone would tell you anything other than cancer.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to take a biopsy, but I'm telling you right now, it's already stage 3. I'm not even going to tell you have a little bit of cancer. We got to work on you. So, they wound up taking 40% of the right side of my tongue. That was in May. I had the tracheotomy and all that. That was a whole fun experience. Then, because I was doing this all out of pocket, I didn't have health insurance at the time. While I was trying to raise the funds to try to get insurance, it came back. They also, what do you call it, when they took the chunk out of my tongue, during one of the scans, they noticed I had some hot spots on my lymph nodes in my neck. So I originally had a scar basically from the bottom of my ear to my Adam's apple. I finally got insurance. But like I said, right before I got the insurance, the cancer came back. So I immediately went into chemotherapy. The chemotherapy killed a tumor immediately on one of my lymph nodes, and I'm showing it to Matt, but I have sort of a divot on the side of my face now, because the tumor died and got infected. So my doctor had to go in and dig all that out, and it was a whole, anything that sort of could have gone wrong on top of having cancer pretty much did. There's a story I'm going to say for another day. Just
Neighbor
cause,
2.
yeah, yeah. They'll be. Remember I said. Yeah, you'll see the inspiration. But I went through the chemotherapy, went through the radiation. I'm all done. I am in the healing process now. It'll be maybe about, I think it's 2.5 months. They'll be able to do the actual testing to make sure I'm clean. So up until then, you play it like you are. So right now I'm cancer free and looking to raise money to make another movie.
So you will be coming back to the
Yes.
director's chair.
Hopefully sooner than later. You know, we're trying to stoke a couple fires. I would love to say out loud who I'm talking to, but I'm afraid of jinxing it too. But a legendary producer hopefully will smile upon my upon my woes of late and help me out. But yeah, the goal is this year. I would love to do something in the fall. I have a script that would just look nice in the fall. It's a haunted house script that we were starting to get off the ground before I got sick, and unfortunately, the cancer got in the way. But Tony Todd is attached to that,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, that's the one we're gonna start looking for money for. It's called right now. It's tentatively called Haunted,
Nice.
and yeah.
Now, my fans out there should definitely go and purchase some copies of Neighbor. I highly recommend looking for the unrated version.
Mm-hmm.
Because the back of the box is different. Now, is there any way that my fans can keep up with you so they can know, what's going on with Haunted or any other news?
You can always find me on the classic social network Facebook. It's I think it's facebook.com/Robert Angelo MX. I know Neighbors is facebook.com/Neighbor the movie. So you can always find me off of that Neighbor site. I'm pretty sure mine's Robert Angelo MX. Find me on there. I find everybody. And yeah, that's probably the easiest. It's easiest for me to do. I'm still kind of old school. I don't know how to I'm not very good at blogging and stuff. So.
Yeah. All right, well, go see the movie. Write some good reviews on IMDb.
Yes, please.
And thank you for coming by, Robert.
Well, thank you for having me. I had a lovely time.